Welcome to episode 1, season 1 of Garrenteed News. I'm your host, Garrett Sims. It's Wednesday, June 21st when you're watching this. I'm not going to get into any big intros. I'm just going to get right into it. We have 5 stories in a rundown. We're going to get you guys in and out of here in 20 minutes, so just stick with me. First story of the week, Gunna dropped, and it's undeniably good. On Friday, he dropped A Gift and a Curse, and this is the album we needed in a shit year of music. Nothing's dropped this year, and I knew Gunna was going to drop an album, but then I knew he was going to drop an album as soon as Bread and Butter came out. But I didn't think it would be this soon, and I didn't think it would be this good. I mean, from the first time I listened to it, when I woke up in the morning afterwards, I was listening to it. I was like, okay. Then I listened to it in the shower, and then I was like, okay. Then I listened to it the next day in the car driving, and I was like, okay. And it was way better than I thought. And it is just like, it's just like Bread and Butter, a whole album of it. He's talking his shit. He's addressing everything that's happened with Thug, with the snitching. He's addressing everybody that's talking to him. And the thing about it is as good as it sounds, and when you listen to him, you can tell he still has love for Thug. You can still tell he has love for certain people in YSL. You can hear that, but just listening. He's not talking, when he's talking his shit about them, he's talking to the people that are talking about, all the little people talking about his case in the rap industry. Or not his case, but just the situation in the rap industry. And he's talking his shit to them. And it sound good, and it has no features, and it's just like, it's low budget. At first I couldn't catch it, but just with like talking to people, you could hear the smoke detector in the back of one of the songs. People are saying the beats, I couldn't tell. The beats don't have the mixing they need, but it's proof that Gunna is saying, hey, I'm better than most of you niggas. I rap better than you. I don't need no feature, and stop talking shit. And you gotta respect it. You gotta respect it. And it's Gunna rapping like the Gunna, whether you want to admit it or not, we all miss. Like, even from the first song, like, I know this is coming out on YouTube, I want to say, but it's like back at it. Like, I want to play it, but it's gonna get, I don't want the video to get back at it. Smoking biscotti, this shit started to hit like it's crack at it. Like the first line, like I was like, yeah. And then, in the way that the album flows and progresses, the songs go right into each other like two Pierre beats coming together. It's like, damn, did another song just start? It's got me looking at my phone. And again, he's rapping, talking that shit in a way I don't think I've heard Gunna do. Like, it's make me look at him as a rapper a little bit differently, because he's flowing the same way he always flows, but what he's saying, he's talking that shit, and he's really rapping. Undeniably good. And because it's undeniably good the way it is, the snitching conversation for me will be done until further notice. For multiple reasons. I'm done with the not listen. At first I was on the he's a snitch, don't listen to him. But first, because I'm done with the don't listen to him because he snitched conversation, because I'm not a street nigga. I don't know the hood politics down to a T. And I feel like the goalpost for snitching gets moved every week. Every week you hear about somebody else snitching. So it's like, you know what? I don't know about it, so I'm not going to speak about it. What I do know is the music sounds great. And hood politics are crazy anyways, because again, as far as snitching, goalposts moved repeatedly. And I haven't seen a single person listen to this and not say this shit is good. And when you, in all facets of life, when you hate someone but they're extremely talented at what they do, you have to sit back and say, you know what, I'm gonna let shit shake out how it shake with the music. Let it shake, because he's undeniably good. And we don't even know everything what's going on with the case, as much as I don't, as much as I hear people talking, and as much I initially want to thought, I don't know. And the album's really good, and he's talking his shit, and he's making some good points. I mean, if 6ix9ine came back rapping like that, I mean, he probably would have had an easier time getting in. That's my opinion. He wasn't coming back like this. Like this album, every single song, it's no skips. Arguably Gunna's best album, but that's another conversation. It's arguable, I'm not saying it, but it's a conversation. But now, as soon as he dropped, last thing I'm going to get into with this story, and this is what's going to be on the next episode of Garrenteed News, I guarantee, as soon as he dropped it, there was a link dropped on Thug's account with a countdown on his Instagram account with a countdown to something that's coming out this Friday. People are talking about what it could be. Most people think, and me included, that it's either going to be a song or an album. And I would also say, I wouldn't say most people think, but if it's a song, it's going to be addressing this entire situation. It almost would have to be. Actually, most people think. If you don't think that, you're probably wrong. So if he's dropping a song or an album and it's going to be addressing this thing with Gunna, the thing where I think people definitely split is how is he going to address it? I mean, on one end, I'm hearing people say Thug could drop something that's basically dissing this nigga Gunna and telling his side of the story, and that would wash away everything this album did. Well, if that's the case, I don't know if it would wash it away, but it would hurt it. Other people are saying it could even be Gunna and Thug on a song together. I mean, Gunna posted the link. Gunna's on this album talking about like him and Thug are still brothers from what he's saying. Fuck is you niggas talking about? Thug is really the only one I really fucked with. Fuck all you other niggas. That's kind of what I'm hearing when I listen to this. So who knows what is going to be dropping by this link, but it's definitely something to look into, and Garrenteed News will. But I'll end that on Gunna is undeniably good, and he raps like few can. And I know you missed it, and I did too. Let's get on to the next story. The second story, we're going to get into the Trump indictment with the classified documents. You've all heard about it, but I feel like I have to speak about it because it's crazy, and it's big, and it's going on in news the last week or so. So Trump was basically charged with like 35 counts of taking classified documents. Now, let me put this in perspective. 31 of those was each a separate count for a different classified document. He basically took 31 different classified documents on our national defense, our nuclear weapon information, and nuclear weapon information of other countries. So he's literally taking information on our national defense and keeping it. And when he's being asked about it, hey, you have these documents, he's lying, making excuses, blah, blah, blah. And now the main thing that people on the other side, the people who are sticking up for Trump and Trump are saying, and the other side of this is, other presidents have been caught before with classified documents. This is the same thing. This is crazy. For example, Obama, Joe Biden. They were both had incidents, and Hillary Clinton too, I believe, not president, but a major political figure. I think they had run-ins with classified documents. The only difference was that is with them, as soon as they were prompted and asked about it, they returned them. And after more investigation, it looked like it was an accident. Whether it was or not, they immediately gave them back, and that's what it said when people investigated it. Trump, he was lying for months. He was saying he didn't have them. He made excuses. He was trying to keep them bitches. So it is a little bit different. And it's even scarier because of all the presidents I could think in the last 30 years. I've only been alive since 2000. I really only remember Obama, not really. So only Trump and Joe Biden. But of all the presidents I can think of, just knowing what I know about history in my little 23 years, Trump is probably the most likely to take those classified documents and use them to hurt the country or some major part of the country in some way due to spite, because he thinks it's right, because he wants to do it. You know, other presidents, I would think, you always have to worry, as many presidents we've had, I'm not going to even say the number, one of them is taking classified information and told it to someone they shouldn't to, and it's a little hazy. But of all the ones I could think of recently, the last like 4 or 5, Trump is the one to use them to do some insane shit. So it's scary he did it. But the craziest part about this, and where I'm going to end it, is I guarantee he won't go to jail for this. And it's because I just can't see it in the people that's a terrible reason, I know, but just think about it. Trump's not gonna, I just don't see a world where he really goes to jail for this. And the people who already like Trump, he's in the Republican primaries to run for president again. The people who like Trump, they love when he does this type of shit. That's not gonna make him taking classified documents on our national defense, isn't gonna make them not like Trump. They like when he does shit like that. They like when he's loud. American politics is so split down the middle. I don't think the people who maybe don't like Trump or don't like that or certain things, or this adds to the fire of how extreme he is, I don't think that's going to make them say, oh, I'm not going to vote, or I'm going to go and vote Democrat. I don't think it's going to make them turn over. So it's just crazy that we have a president that's taking classified documents and keeping them. And I don't think he's going to go to jail. I don't think it's going to stop his movement, stop what he got going on for trying to be the Republican candidate again. And I think it's going to probably turn out to be just another news cycle thing. Crazy enough, like the other few indictments. Are you hearing about them much anymore? No. They're news cycle stories. That's what this is probably going to be. I won't get into, again, Garrenteed News is not the show for like my big opinions. I won't say like I hope or not. But it's insane that you can still classify documents as a president and keep them. And the chances of you not going to jail are higher than of you going to jail. Right? No? I don't know. On to the next story. All right, for our third story, we're going to talk about the new season of Black Mirror that just dropped. It's the best season of Black Mirror altogether. They haven't dropped in for like 4 or 5 years. It was worth the wait. 5 episodes, each one of them good. It's like Black Mirror, creative and good. I'm going to just go over each episode a little bit because I want to talk about them because they were that good. Episode 1 started off one of the better multiverse stories that I've seen with like the last 3 or 4 years. Everyone's talking about how there's multiple universes, dimensions, that whole thing. And it made me like 70% sure we probably don't live in base reality. And it was funny, entertaining, like realistic for me or to me. So they did a great job with episode 1 and it got you like wanting more. It was a great first episode. Then episode 2. It was insane. Every 10 minutes you're like, damn. And then the last 20 minutes is just like, you're like, what the fuck is going on? And by the end of it, I like, you know how it goes into the next episode, I had to pause it and I was like, damn. I like thought for like 2 or 3 minutes, like all these murder documentaries that I watch, I'm really like taking people's real life pain and trauma and using it as like real entertainment. Is that kind of like fucked up? I had to think about that. And then I hit play and went to into the third episode, which is in my opinion the best. And all I'm going to say about that one, because it's crazy, no matter what their mission was, no matter what they were doing up in space, by the end of the episode, I would have had to kill him. We would have both been dead and space stranded. He would have had to die. Murder. I probably actually would have I'm going to say I would have had to torture him. It was insane how it ended, and they didn't show the full ending. If you've seen it, you know what I mean. If you haven't, go watch it and you know what I mean. They didn't show the full ending, but I'm going to assume he got killed. That's the only one that makes sense to me. Fourth episode, it was basically just a Black Mirror werewolf story. It was really good. It's the worst episode to me, but it was still a really good episode of Black Mirror. It was good TV. I watched it and wasn't bored. After just seeing the first 3 to go to that fourth one, I was like, But it was still really good werewolf story. And it showed how exploitive paparazzi is and the fame industry and music and all that. So, cool. That's a good theme. And then the 5th episode, a girl basically became best friends with a demon. It was entertainment. It was entertaining and different because you don't see shit like that, but that's basically what it is. Girl got cursed by a demon. Girl becomes friends with demon that cursed her. Entertaining, but watch it. In the order of like best to worst, 3's the best, then 2, then 1, then 5, then 4 is the worst. All of them are good. If you haven't watched them, watch them. If you have watched them, you're probably going to watch them again. I am eventually. It's one of those, Black Mirror is one of the good shows you can always come back to. It was just all around great. And the last thing I want to say with that is Netflix knows how fucked up they are and they don't care because even, of course, the company doesn't write Black Mirror, but like the first 3 episodes were kind of like one of the major themes is how exploitive and fucked up streaming services are and how they use people. And this is coming off like Black Mirror releases like a month or so after Netflix started that lame ass password sharing thing where they're trying to take more money from people when they're a multi-billion-dollar company. So like another thing I thought of when watching it was like, they know they're fucked up and greedy and they exploit the people they make shows with, probably the writers, and they probably also exploit the people watching us. And they know we know. And they don't give a fuck. And they know we're still going to watch. Interesting dynamic to be in. Like, the first couple episodes made me think that. But Black Mirror as a whole, it's great TV. It makes us all look at each other and say, golly, we're fucked up. And it's getting more fucked up. And this shit's entertaining. I mean, they need to do Black Mirror. And they can't, and this is where I'm going to end this on. This 4 or 5 year thing, can't do it. 2 years max. I need another season. Also, though, if it really takes that long to get the stories right, I guess I'll wait because I know it takes time to do great things. But please don't make it another 4 years for another season of Black Mirror. Please. All right, for our, what is this, fourth story? We're going to get in. NBA Finals is done. And now, in my opinion, we're out major sports until September when football comes back. And this NBA Finals had some of the most positive, just all-around final storylines that I've seen in the finals from both teams in a long time. I mean, the Heat. Let's start with them. Everyone saw the Heat culture. Oh, the 8 seed getting to the championship. Jimmy Butler, the dog mentality. Everyone saw the stories. You would have been happy with the Heat winning. A lot of people, me included, wanted the Heat to win. Then you have on the other side of that the Nuggets. Just with the story the Nuggets have had, it's been that team with the same coach, same core for the last 3 or 4 years since the bubble. You know, Jokic being like like all the way pick that he was, and just seeing how hard he worked to become the MVP, to have the playoff run. Then Jamal Murray with I think he tore his ACL, or just the terrible accident he had. Just the stories of him not playing at all last season and not knowing if he'd be on the team. It's just a feel-good story. In the way the Nuggets play as a team, you can tell they're close. So that was entertaining too. It was almost one of those things where me watching, no matter who won, I knew I wasn't going to be mad, and I wasn't. In seeing like how the Nuggets are after this, I'm even more happier that they won because I think they deserved it. Now into the conversations. Are the Heat going to make it back again? There's only one way they do it, and it's if they get somebody else that can score and help Jimmy Butler. Obviously, Tyler Hero was hurt, so he could have been that other offensive scoring presence. Maybe it would have been enough to get them over. I don't think it would have. But the Heat, they need someone else that's going to score. I'm not the biggest basketball aficionado, so I'm not going to say who it should be, but it's clear just from watching, they just need more help. But the culture, it took them a long way, and I think it can continue to do that. Nuggets becoming a dynasty, everyone's talking about it. By dynasty, are you like, this is what I like when I hear this, are we meaning like 3 championships, 4 championships, maybe winning 2 in a row? If that's what dynasty is, no, I don't think the Nuggets are going to become a dynasty like the Warriors, making it to all these championships, getting to 3 and winning 2, and just how it was. Or like the Lakers when they're getting 3-peats. Like, I don't think the Nuggets are going to win back-to-back. I don't think they're going to win 3 in a row, but I think they will get another championship before all is said and done, and I think this is a very good team, and Jokic is obviously an all-time player already. To me, I think he's an all-time player. I'll leave it there. What that means, I won't get into top what, but I mean, and by the time it's said and done, even if you don't think he's an all-time player now, I think we can all agree he will be an all-time player. But I thought this finals was entertaining. Weren't the most entertaining teams, wasn't the most entertaining on like just paper, just seeing it. But good finals, great storyline. Shout out to the Nuggets. They'll win another one in a couple years, not next year, but they're going to get another one. All right. So you can't talk about the NBA Finals being done without talking about afterwards Ja Morant being suspended for 25 games. Adam Silver finally made the announcement. I'm not going to talk about it a lot because you've already heard about it, and you've already heard a million people speak about it. I'll just say the obvious, what we all know. 25 games was a surprise by the way that Adam Silver first was making it seem. You're saying you're going to not say it until the finals is over to take away from the attention of the finals. By you saying anything, you took away attention from the finals. If you would have just said it and got it over with at like game 4, well, my bad, it would have been a conversation on First Take and Undisputed for a day or so, and then it would have been done, and they would have been talking about the finals again. But the way Adam Silver was talking, the way he was going up with the serious face, and just the whole situation, I thought he was getting half a season at least. And I thought because of how he was seeming, I was like, he's got to get the full season, and then that's outrageous, and it's going to be the talk of everything for a while. Hold us over a little bit now that the finals in sports, major sports, is done. I thought he was about to hold us over with something crazy. He'd get the full season. Gave him 25 games. And when you think about it, it's not that bad considering everything he did. I mean, I'm just going to get right into this now. If you're one of those people that think because of what Ja Morant did, he shouldn't be punished and, oh, guns are illegal, I'm going to just assume you don't like taking accountability for your actions. Because every single conversation that's being had about him, including this one right now, is because he has something that is, I won't speak about what it is or make a guess, but he clearly has a strong desire to post himself with guns on Instagram where everyone can see. Not even on the private story. And you just can't do that. You work for that. He works for that. It's not a difficult conversation. He works for the NBA. He makes millions of dollars for them, but he's just not the NBA. So 25 games for posting yourself with guns one time and then no one really did anything, plus all the other stuff you did, and I'm not even going to get into that. Then you post yourself with guns again and you only get 25 games? Yeah, I think you made it out pretty good. Now, next conversation, because we're in 20 minutes and Garrett's football show is not supposed to be over 20 minutes. It will be, but stick with me a little bit longer. The next thing about this is this 25 game is going to be enough for him to not do this anymore. And by this, I mean post guns and do things that are clearly wrong when working for a major company. 25 games can be enough. I mean, it's a third of the season, a little bit over a third of the season. He can take the time to learn what he needs to learn or speak to who he needs to speak to or do whatever he needs to do to fight the urge to post guns on live. I think it can be enough. There's a possibility it won't, but I'm not going to say, I'm on my show on Garrenteed News, I'm not going to make a judgment on whether I think he will or won't, because he's going to show us in time by himself. This is a really easy test. When this summer and the season starts going around, those first games where he's out, if we don't see any videos of him with guns, he's learning. And cool. If we see another video of him with guns, I'll talk about it then. It's clear, it's easy. It's no reason to talk about it any more than that on if 25 games is enough. I mean, a third of the season and the time that it will be in this summer, it's going to be enough if he wants it to be enough. I mean, you change a habit in 30 days. Obviously, that's not the truth, but people say it all the time. I say that to say 2-3 months of hard work and really trying to change, you can change. And all he has to do is just change enough to not post guns on Instagram Live. It can be enough, and if it's not enough, we'll be able to see it, and I'll talk about it, and it'll be hilarious. But I hope it's enough. 25 games, I hope it's enough. All right, I know you guys have been here over 20 minutes. Stick with me. I'm going to just do the rundown. This is the part of the show where I say stories that I just quickly go over stories that I want to talk about, but don't deserve a top 5 spot in Garrenteed News. One is Home Depot girl. All I'm going to say about that is it was very interesting to me how a girl can post a picture of herself in a Home Depot uniform, and it really makes multiple sides on Twitter have debate about a bunch of different things all around whether or not this girl is cute enough to be working at Home Depot. And it literally is the talk of social media and shows for like 2 or 3 or 4 days. It's just interesting to me, and it was interesting how it entertained me as well. Ain't no guy or no girl that's not perceived to be bad posting a picture of themselves, and like that happens. It's crazy how being bad and doing the right post with the right caption, it can really blow you up. It can. And the only other thing I want to talk about is Shaq, which completely goes off of what I was originally saying. Shaq being in her DMs, first of all, I was like, damn, he like me for real. He's just in DMs. Second thing it made me think, when I saw him in Home Depot, like actually at Home Depot, like rapping and stuff, I was like, huh, Shaq is pretty fried. And I don't think I knew he was. Well, yeah, he just was with Brittany Renner. The last couple of weeks for me with Shaq, I've been like, huh, he's on that, isn't he? It was just interesting to me. That's all I got on Home Depot girl. Next story, Paul Pierce on Instagram Live. The only thing I want to say about this is he is like, you know, the old heads that's still young in the heart and they just be fried as hell. And like, they didn't grow up with social media and all that technology shit. And now they living in it, but they old heads. Paul Pierce is just one of them niggas. That's all Paul Pierce is. And another thing, the only last thing I want to say is I know at his heart, he is a true annoying nigga because of that whole entire video, all the things that happened. The thing, like, for me, that was hilarious because I get called annoying all the time, and I can see myself doing this is like towards the end after he had done all the stuff with the "this is my girlfriend" for the day. After he got mad at the guy for throwing the lighter at him. After he said, show my chain, all the stupid shit. He gonna tap, like, Kevin Garnett randomly and be like, we getting dinner after this? Where you getting reservations at? Kevin Garnett ignoring him. Like, clearly he hears him, and I know when you say something and you being ignored, and Paul Pierce is like, hey, you hear me? Kevin's like, yes, bro, yes. We're getting dinner after this. We're going to eat after this. We're relaxed. And Parker's like, all right, cool, bet. Like, that was just it. That was what was funny to me, because I could see that being me with my friends. Like, bro, like in the wrong situation at the completely wrong time, no matter what it is. Like, what are we doing after this? Like, what's going on? We just, like, no, nigga, shut up. It's not the time for that. But that's all I wanted to say because that stood out to me because I was like, yeah, Paul Pierce, he's annoying at heart. I could tell. However else you want to say and chop it up about all the other stuff, you could chop it with what that was. He's a true annoying nigga. And the last thing, Skip and Shannon had their last episode. This is the first episode of Garrenteed News. I spoke about this in the practice episode. So if you saw those, you saw what I said. It's just sad, bro. It's just sad. I won't get into a deep dive about it. One of the best sports shows for the last 4 or 5 years. It's done. Undisputed's going to get somebody else. Shannon's going to be fine. He's entertaining. Skip is going to still do Undisputed. He's entertaining. It's just sad. It's like seeing First Take End. But it's going to continue. But all right. That is episode 1 of Garrenteed News. 25 minutes, 27 seconds about with the edits. We'll get you guys out of here in 20 minutes next week, I promise. See you next Wednesday for episode 2. That's a wrap.